Use appropriate drivers for a given operating system. Minus printer control language, PCL, versus PostScript. Once the printer is physically in place, the next step is ensuring the computer and the printer can speak the exact same language. This is handled by the print driver. For a hardware technician, the biggest decision isn't just finding a driver, but choosing the correct page description language for the specific job. The two primary standards you will encounter are PCL and PostScript. Printer Control Language, PCL. Developed by Hewlett-Packard, PCL is the most common language used for general office printing. It is designed to be fast, efficient, and light on system resources. How it works: PCL is device-dependent. This means the computer uses the printer's own hardware to process parts of the print job, such as fonts and basic graphics. Speed, because it offloads some of the work to the printer and uses less data. The first page usually comes out of the printer very quickly. Compatibility. It is widely supported across Windows environments and is the go-to choice for daily documents, spreadsheets, and emails. The downside. Because it is dependent on the specific printer's hardware, a document might look slightly different if you print it on an HP versus a Xerox. PostScript PS. Developed by Adobe, PostScript is the gold standard for high-end graphics, desktop publishing, and professional design work. How it works: PostScript is device-independent. The driver creates a highly detailed mathematical map of the entire page before sending it to the printer. Consistency. Because the computer does the heavy lifting of defining exactly where every line and dot goes, the document will look identical whether you print it on a small office laser printer or a $1 million commercial press. Advanced graphics. It handles complex vector graphics and high-resolution images much better than PCL. It is the mandatory choice for Mac users and those using the Adobe Creative Suite. The downside: PostScript files are much larger and more complex. This can lead to a processing delay at the printer while the machine's memory crunches the data before the first page finally starts to move. Choosing the right driver for the OS. When you go to a manufacturer's website to download drivers, you will often see several different options. Here is how to choose the right one for your scenario. The V4 Universal Driver. Modern operating systems like Windows 10 and Windows 11 often prefer Type 4 drivers. These are designed to be universal, meaning one driver can manage an entire fleet of different printer models. This is a dream for IT administrators, but might lack some of the specialized finishing features, like stapling or hole punching, of a dedicated driver. 32-bit versus 64-bit. As we discussed in our architecture lesson, you must match the driver bit version to the operating system. A 64-bit Windows install requires a 64-bit print driver, or the installation will fail immediately. Legacy support. If you are supporting an older 32-bit x86 machine in a legacy industrial environment, you must specifically seek out the older Type 3 drivers, as modern V4 drivers may not be compatible with older print spooler services. Wired versus wireless configuration. The way the driver finds the printer depends on how you've connected the device. USB local, the simplest method. Windows will usually detect the printer the moment you plug it in and attempt to install a basic plug-and-play driver. Network Ethernet Wi-Fi. In a professional setting, the technician should assign the printer a static IP address. This ensures that the computer's driver doesn't lose the printer if the router decides to change its address during a reboot. Infrastructure versus ad hoc. When setting up wireless printing, the printer should be joined to the office infrastructure, the Wi-Fi router. Ad hoc mode, which connects a computer directly to the printer's own signal, is usually only used for temporary troubleshooting.